Namaste, Yogi Beans. I trust you are well and keeping healthy. I welcome you to one of my very first recordings, one of many that I hope that I will be sharing with you over the next little while. As some of you know, I've just spent a month trekking in the Himalayas in Nepal, which was absolutely stunning. And I have now arrived safely in Germany, where I've been catching up with mountains of work and then planning my month ahead. So, in this time, I caught up with a lot of my favorite podcasts. One that I love listening to is Unthinkable, a creative content podcast that's hosted by Jay Okonzo. I loved his interview with former Russian ballerina, and she spoke about the constraints that were forced on them by the Soviet state. They had to be super creative and come up with new ways and means of expressing themselves in the set and bound space. And we all know how beautiful and amazing the Russian ballerinas and the ballet companies are. So, how do we take the ideas of constraints and use them to our advantage? Here is my story, and hopefully, it will inspire you to move past your barriers. One of the things that I've wanted to do for a very, very, very long time was to either create regular podcasts or yoga class recordings that my students could do from home. But till now, I have always been held back by a number of things. One, I didn't have a proper hands free mic to do yoga and record so that it would be at a good enough quality for the listeners. Two, when I did start recording, I didn't have enough video recording space on my phone. Three, when I did manage to delete enough of everything off my phone, I struggled to transfer it to my laptop. As you can tell, I'm not really much of a techie. Four, I thought I needed to have really good expertise and know everything about voice and movie editing before doing it. Obviously, because the perfectionist in me only wants to release that, which is absolutely perfect. So these four issues have always, or at least for the last year or so, stopped me from going ahead with getting down to doing recordings. So after listening to this podcast, I decided to sit down and write down my current limitations to an area of my life that I really wanted to expand into. And after I read those on the paper, I looked at how I could embrace these limitations and work with them. So I came up with a 20-day challenge for myself, pretty much just enough days to give it a go before I need to move on my next traveling adventure. So, one, I would use the headset that I already have to do pre recordings and then film afterwards. Two, recordings would have to be less than 5 minutes so that it would be easy enough for a non techie like me to get them uploaded to my laptop and then to work with them. Three, to do one recording a day to share something inspiring that has helped motivate me on that day. And four, this is a really tough one, not to spend more than an hour editing the work and then posting it on social media. In other words, being okay with the fact that not one of these recordings is going to be absolutely perfect and the way I want it. So, a nice little mental and emotional challenge for me to get out of my perfectionistic comfort zone. There's a new word for you. Perfectionistic. 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 So, here is my challenge to you this week. Write down those things that have been limiting you, preventing you from moving forward in a particular direction. And then once you've read through that list of limitations and constraints, think of creative ways you can use those to do something unique. It may not be exactly what you always wanted to do or had in mind, but at least this will now give you a constructive and practical way, positive way of moving forward. So these recordings, and this one is turning into a longer one than expected, are meant to be yoga related. And for today, I thought I would share with you one of my favorite outdoor yoga postures. So when you see pictures of me traveling or out in nature, you will most likely see me doing Natarajasana, the dancer pose. I love this pose because, one, I think it is an absolutely beautiful pose. Two, it is great to do, especially if you've been doing a lot of hiking, as it releases through the front of the legs and those tight thighs. And three, because I was inspired by a ballerina to get my lazy butt into action. So join me now as we take 2 minutes to do Natarajasana together. So yep, that means you gotta get up and off your chair. Yes, no rolling your eyes or shaking your head. Get up, join me, and if there's anyone else around, get them to join in as well. And then just make sure that you're standing in Tadasana with your feet firmly planted on the ground and the weight even between the right side and the left side. And just take a couple of breaths here to really feel that you're standing tall and become aware of how the body feels. And then start to fix the gaze on the static spot on the wall or the floor in front of you. And allow the weight to shift a little bit more into your right foot and really ground down through that right foot. And as you transfer that weight into the right side, bend your left knee backwards and take hold of the left ankle with your left hand. Feel that you can bring both knees together. Ease the left heel in the direction of the left buttock. And see if you can maintain a neutral curve in the lower back. So let your sacrum feel heavy. Don't actively tuck under the tailbone, but just gently draw the pubic bone forwards and up. And feel the heaviness through the tailbone. Notice how you can open up into the front of the chest, lifting the sternum a little without pouting out the chest. Slide the shoulder blades back and down. A long neck. And now as you inhale, extend your left foot back just a little, back and up. And then bring your right arm up alongside your right ear, reaching into the fingertips and softening both shoulders away from the ears, creating space. Ensure that the hips are aligned, so they're both facing the short part of your mat or forwards. And take another breath here. And then as you exhale, lower your left leg and bring your right arm down alongside your body. And stand in Samasthiti for a moment, noticing how the body feels. And then we do the same thing on the other side. So you're now going to take a moment to transfer the weight into your right foot, really grounding down through that right foot. You're going to, through your left foot, You're going to bend your right knee and you're going to take hold of your right ankle with your right hand. See if you can bring both knees together and bring the right heel towards the right buttock, maintaining that neutral curve in the lower back. The sacrum feels heavy again, the chest is beautifully open, the shoulders are relaxed, you're growing tall. Continue to allow yourself to grow tall, and as you inhale, extend your right foot back and up. Raise the left arm up alongside the left ear, reaching into the fingertips and softening both shoulders away from the ears. Ensure that the hips aren't rotated and that your right leg is lifted in line with the right hip so that it's not moving out to the side. You can always take a couple of Ujjayi breaths here. One more for now. And then as you exhale, lower your right leg, bring Your knees together, release the ankle and lower the foot and then the left arm. Again, stand in samastiti for a moment. Experience or notice any sensations in the hips and the pelvis and your legs. And then release. Namaste. And thank you for joining me on my first